Hello, my lovelies. It is time for another round of TBR Topple, so stay tuned. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. If you don't know, TBR Topple is my way of reading my shelves and getting them organized because they're kind of a chaotic mess with books stacked everywhere. I've got books stacked on the floor, I've got books stacked in front of books, and I want my shelves to look nice and neat and pretty, and I want to narrow down the books on my shelves too. So if you've watched the first couple of episodes, let me turn this around. You know that I have gotten those shelves as well as this whole row here all nice and neat the way I want them. This right here is the next shelf that we have to work on. As you can see, my other shelves are a chaotic mess. This is the shelf we're going to be tackling in this TBR Topple. So I have today, tomorrow, and like half of the next day to get as much done as possible. So the way I'm going to do this is first I'm going to go through and I'm going to organize the shelf the way I want, and whatever books would not fit on that shelf, those are the ones that I need to try and read during this vlog. I have a feeling there's going to be quite a few, but I don't know because these aren't stacked all the way up, so maybe it won't be that bad. Also, reaching there is going to be difficult because I have a ton of stuff on the floor here in front of my shelves. So let me get my ladder and we'll get started because I can't easily reach that. Okay, this is pretty much as close as I can get, so there's definitely going to be some lean over. Wish me luck. Okay, surprisingly, all of the books fit on that shelf, and I have room for one more. So let me grab something from the next shelf to put over here. Okay, so I guess we'll move on to the next shelf. Okay, so this is going to be the next shelf that we tackle. Again, there's a bunch of stuff in the way, so let me move some of this stuff and see if I can get over here. Okay, so there's only 2 books on this shelf, and I really feel like they can fit on the next shelf, and we can maybe do that shelf as well as the next one. So let me turn the camera a little bit. Okay, so this will be the next shelf that we tackle. Okay, that's this shelf done. There's one more book. There's kind of a room for a little bit more, but I don't know if I could squeeze this tight in there or not. So I'm gonna put this to the next shelf, and I'm pretty sure with the next shelf we'll have to read things. So let's move over there. Okay, here is the next chaos shelf. So I just found a shelf that went on the very first one that we were supposed to do. So let me do some shifting around. Okay, now onto this shelf. These are some seriously dusty shelves. Wow, again, there's only one book that needs to move. And I want this to be more than one book, that I have to read for this. So let's move to the next shelf. And here is this shelf. Yeah. Okay. I have a lot of stuff just on this shelf. Okay, so we finally got a shelf done that has like a couple of books. So, we have Blood Orange by Katrina Hale or Hall. The last one by Rachel Hoswell Hall. And Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. So these are the ones that I'm going to work on. And hopefully I can get these all done in the time allotted. So I think I shall start with, I don't have a place to set them, so I'm just going to set them here. And we will start with Boyfriend Hall, or Boyfriend Material. Let's see, this says, wanted, one fake boyfriend, practically perfect in every way. Luke O'Donnell is tangentially and reluctantly famous. His rock star parents split when he was young, and the father he's never met spent the next 20 years cruising in and out of rehab. Now that his dad's making a comeback, Luke's back in the public eye, and one compromising photo is enough to ruin everything. To clean up his image, Luke has to find a nice, normal relationship, and Oliver Blackwood is as nice and normal as they come. He's a barrister and an ethical vegetarian, and he's never inspired a moment of scandal in his life. In other words, perfect boyfriend material. Unfortunately, apart from being gay, single, and really, really in need of a date for a big event, Luke and Oliver have nothing in common. So they strike up a deal to be publicity-friendly, fake boyfriends until the dust has settled. Then they can go their separate ways and pretend it never happened. But the thing about fake dating is that it can feel a lot like real dating. And that's when you get used to someone. Start falling for them. Don't ever want to let them go. Alright, so this is what I'm reading. I'll come back when I've got a little bit way through it. Okay, so I actually found Boyfriend Material on Hoopla, and I'm currently 59% of the way through it. At this point, they've started their whole fake dating thing, and it's gotten to the point where it's started to become a little more real, and that makes our main character kind of freak out a little bit, because he starts thinking that, maybe he can have this. And then he reads an article that somebody that met him for just 5 minutes ended up writing about him, and about how he was pretty much this lost soul, and it kind of devastated him and kind of made him realize that he can't have this. And of course he lost it and went off on the guy Oliver and kicked him out, and that's where we are right now. I'm enjoying it. It's a good story, so I'm gonna keep going. Good morning. So last night I finished Boyfriend Material. This is kind of a long book. It just seemed long. It's 420 something pages. So our main character, Luke, he works for a charity that raises money for dung beetles. And because of his former rock star dad, who, did all the things and had quite the reputation, people kind of watch Luke a little too closely. So, like, his dad was out of the spotlight for a long time, but now he's back in the spotlight. And because of that, Luke is back in the spotlight. And Luke doesn't really have anything to do with his dad. Like, his dad left when he was, like, really young. I don't know if he ever really knew his dad. Maybe he left when she was pregnant. I don't remember. But he was not a dad to him. And they have no kind of relationship. But because of his dad's history, like I said, people watch him. And he's out at this bar one night. He's got some bunny ears on because it's sort of a little bit of a theme type thing. Anyway, when he's leaving, he ends up tripping and falling, and somebody takes a picture, and it ends up in a tabloid, and it's like, oh, drunken whatever. And so it shines him in a bad light, and the charity that he works for, they're losing donors and stuff for this beetle ball they have coming up, because of his image. And need him to kind of get this more like a squeaky clean image. And so he ends up doing this whole like fake boyfriend thing. And Oliver is like the squeaky cleaniest guy he knows. And he's a barrister, aka a lawyer, and a vegetarian, and just kind of voicing like Mr. Uptight. So they do the fake dating thing. Also, Luke finds out that his father has cancer, and so now his father's trying to reach out and be like something in his life, and Luke's kind of like, I don't know if I want this, and Oliver kind of helps him through that. And Luke also meets Oliver's family, and they're kind of awful and treat Oliver like he's never going to be good enough. And Luke totally goes off on his whole family. There's a lot of almost breakups throughout this. It was cute. I enjoyed it. I think I'm giving it a 3.5 star. But now I need to read the last one by Rachel Housel Hall. Let me grab that. I have this beautiful edition here. Love it. So I looked and I couldn't find an audiobook for this, so I will be physically reading this. Ooh, the text is kind of on the small side. Let's see how long this is. 424 pages. Okay. No. There's an epilogue. 425 pages. This says, explosive and enthralling romantasy debut from New York Times bestselling author Rachel Housel Hall. Thrown into a desolate land of sickness and unnatural beasts, Kai wakes in the woods with no idea who she is or how she got there. All she knows is that if she cannot reach the Sea of Devour, even this hellscape will get worse. But when she sees the village blacksmith fight invaders with unspeakable skill, she decides to accept his offer of help. Too bad he's as skilled at annoying her as he is at fighting. As she searches for answers, Kai only finds more questions, especially regarding the blacksmith, who can ignite her body like a flame, then douse it with ice in the next breath. And no one is what or who they appear to be in the kingdom of Vinvidrith, including the man whose secrets might be as deadly as the land itself. Okay, so this is what I'll be tackling next. Okay, so I just started. I'm on the very first page, well, sort of second page. So the very first page is actually this poem, and then chapter 1, the very first line, good first line. I open my eyes and choose violence. All right, let's read. Oh my goodness, my eyeballs are tired. So I am currently on page, where did it go? 145. So I'm only about maybe a third, a little over a third of the way through. So our main character, Kai, she wakes up being attacked and realizes that the person attacking her essentially is a thief and has literally taken all of her clothes, her shoes, her gloves, an amulet, and runs off. And Kai doesn't even know her name at this point. She doesn't know how she got into this position, how she got knocked out into the forest. Doesn't remember anything before waking up. And she ends up following this thief to her village and attacks her and almost gets herself arrested, but she ends up having to like work off a fine before she can get any of her things back. And in this time, she starts making some friends with people there. The girl that actually stole from her, the thief, ends up kind of keeping her from going to jail, and her brother Jaden vouches for her, and so she's kind of staying with them while working off her debt. And there's this stuff with this emperor, his name, like Emperor Wake, and he's kind of trying to take over everything and almost be like a god to these people. And it's pretty much either you denounce any of your rulers or anything, any of your gods or anything other than Wake, or you die. And these soldiers come to this village where they are, and Kai and Jaden are pretty much the ones that save the village. And so that kind of turns a lot of people to, like, in favor of Kai. And then other, almost otherworldly people, I guess, show up looking for Kai. And a lot of the villagers try to help her. And then the village is attacked again by otherworldly creatures. And yeah, it's just one thing after another. And now Kai and Jaden and his sister and her friend are all like leaving this village and trying to help Kai figure out who she is, where she comes from, because Kai still is only learning, like remembering little bits and pieces, but has definitely figured out that she is something special and has special abilities, and she doesn't understand what's going on. So they're on this quest now. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to keep reading and try to stay awake. I did not get enough sleep last night, so I'm like struggling because my eyeballs are tired. But I'm going to keep going. Good morning. So last night I finished the last one by Rachel Housel Hall. And for a little while I considered using one of my Audible credits so that I could listen to this. But then when I got on Audible, it shows you like the rating on Audible as well as the rating on Goodreads. And on Goodreads, this has like a 2.8, and I was like, so didn't know if I wanted to use one of my credits on that, so I was like, just gonna physically read it. And I looked on Goodreads and looked at some of the reviews, and I don't know why this has such a low rating. I very much enjoyed it. There were definitely some twists and things I didn't see coming, and it was a good time. I can't really say too much more other than what I've already said, without revealing any of those twists, but it was good. I think I'm going to give this one 4 stars because I could see myself reading it again. And it's wild because of having such a low rating. This might actually be currently my lowest rated book, which is funny, but I enjoyed it. It says there are gods, there are humans, and then there's her. And that plus what I already told you. I can also say that all of her clothes and her amulet and all of that stuff that was stolen from her that she had to get back and everything essentially is a part of her. And without those things, her life force or whatever is gradually depleting. And so it's important that you get those things. So this morning, I didn't jump right into filming because I was just waking up. Currently my breakfast is cooking, so I only have a couple more minutes, but I did start Blood Orange, and this is a Dracula retelling. Let me say, the very first chapter there's a sex scene right off the bat. I just finished chapter 4, so let's see where I am. I'm listening to this on Hoopla. There's also some really nice art on the chapter pages. On this edition, anyway. Okay, so I'm on page 63. This is the start of chapter 5. And I will say, in chapter 4, there is another sex scene. So this is definitely sex scene heavy. So in the first chapter, it's... Let's see, when it doesn't say. It doesn't say when. But it's... another century, a long time ago. Valtu is who ends up being Dracula. he doesn't know he's a vampire. He doesn't know anything about his parents. And apparently, when two vampires have a child, once it hits the age of 35, they also become a vampire. And so it's this time. He doesn't even know how old exactly he is or when his birthday is, but in this moment, the girl that he is just madly in love with, she's just told him she's pregnant, and her father is this general, and she knows that if he finds out, he'll kill her. And so Valtu is like, we'll run away, blah blah blah, but it ends up being too late, and the general and his soldiers end up finding them and ending that pregnancy, and also ending the girl. Her own father decapitates her, and Valtu, this weird feeling that he'd been having, he finally lets it go and just massacres everybody. That's when his like vampire really comes out. And then fast forward to like more current day, and we have Dahlia. Dahlia is, so in chapter 2, she's having this dream, and she's dreaming that she is the girl at that time, and she's seeing all of these things happen, and she wakes up, right before she's decapitated. And it's a weird reoccurring dream for her. Sometimes she wakes up and having just felt the knife start to pierce her, things like that. And she is a witch and a slayer and a hunter of vampires. And she's going undercover to this university in Venice because there is a professor there, Valtu, who, like, the whole story of Dracula was based on Valtu in this retelling. And so he's kind of referred to as Valtu. Humans don't know he's a vampire. She does, and she's there to hunt him and kill him. And right away, she's like super attracted to him. I hear my oven going off. I need to hurry up. She's super attracted to him, and she's kind of like, I got to stop that because I have to kill him. And so that's where we're at this point. Now I need to go get my food before it burns. Good morning. So yesterday I finished Blood Orange by Karina Hall or Hale, and I think I'm going to give this 2.5 stars. This book was like this much smut and this much plot. There was really no plot to this at all. As I said, it's sort of a Dracula retelling, but not really. Other than what I told you, pretty much the love of his life has been reincarnated a few times, and this particular reincarnation, she is actually a witch and a vampire slayer. And there was one like little nod to Buffy in here. Talking about when they were like in school, there were 6 of them and they were referred to as the Buffies. But other than that, that was the only little nod to Buffy. But essentially, she's supposed to be hunting him down and killing him, but she falls for him and wants to give up, being a witch and hunting vampires and all that. That's it. That's really it. I will not be continuing this series at all. And I will, even though this is such a pretty book, I will be unhauling it. I am so happy with how many shelves we got straightened out this time. Like, I'm not quite halfway through the shelves in this room, but I'm definitely getting there. And let me turn this around. We got so many straightened up. Next time we will be tackling that one right there, which has a lot of books stacked in front. But now it is time for me to end this vlog and get it edited so I can post it for you guys. Have you read any of these books? Did you like them? Did you not? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye!